2026 Tall Tales Contest. Contestant number 1, Matt Moran. A series of classified events. A series of classified events. Matt Moran.
The events you are about to hear are classified top secret by the United States government. I will disavow any knowledge of these events or my participation in them upon completion of this story. I will respond to any questions or statements about these events with either a questioning look or a derisive look if asked after the completion of this event. I can only share these events because this is a Tall Tales contest and nobody here would believe the events actually happened. You have to rewind to April 2003. The 3rd Infantry Division moved into Baghdad, and on April 9th, the Saddam Hussein statue came crashing down. If you'd been with me 2 days later, my unit was approaching the Euphrates River. The bridge had been blown out by the Iraqis when they retreated into Baghdad. The 3rd Infantry had placed strong steel beams across the 40-foot gap, but no real repairs had started yet. At 1:17 in the morning, we approached the bridge, my tank being the first one to cross. We rumbled onto the old concrete, and my heart was in my throat. 72 tons of man and machine worked their way onto those thin steel beams. We were all outside the tank, looking over the sides, some of us muttering in things that I can't repeat here. As we crossed, I had the distinct feeling that we were starting to sink. Crack! Ah! Have you ever had a moment that seems to stretch out in time? Inky darkness ratchets up and splashes into my face, and I feel an impact to the back of my head. Everything goes dark. There's a tugging at my boot. The tugging comes back. I have a headache. I look down, and I'm lying on a beach, and there's a short, plump, gray and white bird tugging at my bootlaces with a curved beak. I kick it away from me, this time with better aim, and it squawks, hopping away, trying to use its arms for flight, leaving a trail of feathers, one of them landing on my chest. Those damn birds don't know when to give up, do they, sir? Staff Sergeant McGregor's walking down the beach, more beanpole than beefcake, holding a canteen and a banana in his hand as he sits down next to me and he hands them to me. Those damn dodos just don't give up. Did you say dodos? Yes, sir. Didn't you recognize them? I think you better bring me up to speed, Sergeant. Sergeant McGregor tells me how he pushed me out of the tank after it hit the water. I lost consciousness because the hatch had closed on my head. He dragged me to a light source, not knowing what it was, and we washed up on the beach. The first thing he'd seen were a dozen dodo birds. As I look around, I notice that there's a ceiling that's semi-transparent. Light is emitting from it, but it's not our sun. The beach has unfamiliar plants all around, except for maybe a banana tree. And there's a river a little bit down the way. Sergeant, where are we? Best I can see, underground, sir. Sergeant, we follow that river. It's got to have a source. It's got to be our best way out of here. Best plan I've heard, sir. We march to the river and we start working our way up. And the dodo was only the first of many adventures that we had on the next 6 days. There was a 7-foot tall, long centipede. There was a zebra that had stripes only on its front half. There was giant redwoods right next to twisted mesquites. And we even saw a 5-story tall apple tree in the distance that seemed to have something weaving its way around the branches. Eventually, we followed the river to a 4-story tall waterfall. We climbed the slope, and when we got to the top, we turned around and looked, and And there before us on the horizon, the subterranean horizon, was every environment known to man. Tundra, desert, woodland, swamp, tropical forest, all teeming with life. Sergeant McGregor said to me, "Sir, I wish I had a camera." "Nobody will believe you, Sergeant." We turn and we follow down into a cave where the river emitted from. As we go further and further into the cave, it gets darker and darker. Our hands reaching into the dark, and then it starts getting lighter. Eventually, we find the entrance to the cave. It's the Euphrates River. We're in Baghdad. We flag down a tank. To make a long story short, we get back to our unit. We grab our unit commander, try and drag him down to where the cave was. We can't find it. The only thing that remains from our adventure is a little feather.